You're listening to That Gets My Goat. And now here's your hosts, Rish Outfield and Big Anklovich.
I like this drink. Another.
Hi, this is Rish Outfield.
And this is Big Anklovich.
Welcome to That Gets My Goat. Tonight, I don't know if they could tell what we were trying to say. We're going to be talking about Thor.
That's right. This mortal body is flagging. I need sustenance.
Did he really say that?
Something like that. He said he needed sustenance. It was funny because I saw somebody at work today. Right as I was about to head home, I realized that I have a big old mug and I always keep it full of water. And I went, as I was walking out the door, I went to take a sip from it and it was empty. And I'm like, I'll fill this up at least a little bit with water before I leave. And so I went to the water cooler and I was filling it up. And this girl who had already seen me walk out the door was like, what are you doing back here? And I was like, I forgot to put water in my mug. And she's like, you came back because you needed sustenance. And so I had to tell her about that line from Thor just because I thought it was so
she
weird.
Wasn't referencing
No,
Thor.
She just actually used the word sustenance. And I said, yeah, I don't know if you don't really fit into the general target audience of the superhero movie, but this one was fairly good for a superhero movie. You ought to check it out. And she's like, hey, don't you try and put me in a box. I like those kind of movies. It's like, do I look like somebody that would be the target audience for Firefly? All right,
this is that girl that you turned on to Firefly.
Yeah, it was weird because I have my Serenity shirt that I wore to work, and most people are like, Serenity now, Serenity now, Serenity now. Every time I wear that, I get about 5 people that say that. But here and there, I get somebody who goes, oh, yeah, nice, I love that show. Cool shirt or something like that, There's a couple people that actually know what Serenity is, and I find that refreshing when that happens. It's kind of cool. I think that's one thing that's kind of fun about wearing a shirt like that is that it's not obvious what it is. Or it's not well known, and so you feel like you're in a little club or something when somebody notices it and does say something.
I always feel that way about, probably more about Firefly than anything else.
Yeah.
Maybe if we had Dr. Horrible shirts and stuff like that, that people could respond to that.
I still want one of those
that's right.
Captain Hammer shirts.
That year that it came out, we didn't buy them, and the next day they were gone, the Captain Hammer shirts.
Yeah. And that's why I have the Serenity shirt. I was going to buy the Captain Hammer shirt, and I didn't buy it that day. And we came back the next day at Comic-Con, and it was gone. They were sold out of Captain Hammer. I think they have a new version of that shirt, though, where it has Captain Hammer's symbol on the front. And then underneath it says, "These are not the hammer."
Oh, really? Okay, that's cool.
Which might be worth purchasing.
In my mind, it's pretty much gone away, the Dr. Horrible.
Dr. Horrible? Well, Joss is busy doing other stuff, so who knows if they'll ever make a new one, although he said he will, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything.
It's something where they've just got to say, we're going to do it on X weekend, even if that means canceling something what we've got planned, a family outing or whatever. It's just like, we're going to do it the first weekend in July or something, and anybody that's not there, well, you don't get to do it. Maybe we'll do a third one kind of thing. It's like, I almost said Indiana Jones 4. It's like Indiana Jones 4, they talked about making that for years. And eventually people just started dying. And they're like, oh, yeah, we're never going to make an Indiana Jones 4.
Luckily, the folks in Dr. Horrible are still relatively young. Bad Horse they may have to replace with a new Bad Horse because, horses don't live as long as people. But other than that... They should be okay. I'm sure that no one has probably ever seen our little link to purchase Dunesteef shirts. But one of the reasons why I made the Dunesteef shirts the way they are with just the D on it and nothing else is for that whole in the club factor. You look at that shirt and you don't know what it is. It doesn't say what it is. It doesn't say DunesteefPodcast.com. or any of that crap. It's just the logo, and I thought that would be cool. If I don't know where you would run in. I mean, because we've got like 1,000 listeners or something, and they're spread across the entire effing world. So that's like one person per country or so.
But if somebody had bought one of those, you would know about it, right?
I think so. I'm not sure, but I think so. I think no one has ever bought any of them, but. If somebody did, they could, maybe run into somebody else at like a convention or something like that. At least that could be possible, where someone was wearing the D shirt and they saw somebody else and they went, "Hey, nice shirt."
I do like it when that happens, when somebody recognizes something that I'm wearing. Like I have the Janestown one. I think you gave it to me, right? It's a statue of Jane Cobb, and it says
somebody else gave it to you. I
"Visit
don't know.
Scenic Janestown" or something like that on it. And yeah, I did have one guy go, "Oh, the man they called Jane," and it's just like, we are brothers. It really is like that. It's so weird because it's just a private thing with so few.
Yeah, it's a small. It's a as Soul Coughing put it. It's the 5% Nation. They have a song called the 5% Nation, and they go through and just name off a bunch of random 5% nations of this and that. The 5% Nation of SASE.
Self-addressed stamped envelope?
The 5% Nation of nipple clamps.
Okay.
That was a good one.
All right, I'm getting it now. But, I walked into Targets and Walmarts, and there's a lot of Avengers shirts and
Really?
a lot of options.
For the movie or just Marvel Comics kind of
I
stuff?
think Marvel Comics trying to get the brand out there a little bit more. Obviously, there's no visuals from Avengers the movie yet. Although
there could be some of the guys in costumes or something, right? Got at least Captain America and Thor.
I don't know how much of a lid they're trying to keep on that. But even more, I think, than the Avengers, you'll see a ton of Green Lantern things right now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if you see somebody with a shirt that just says "In Brightest Day and Blackest Night," and that's all it says. And just for that exact reason, it's like, that would be so cool, because only the people that know what that is will get that.
Yeah, that is cool. I like that.
But we're not here to talk about Green Lantern yet. We're here to talk about Thor, which you and I saw opening night.
It was opening night, although does it count still as opening night anymore? Because we didn't see the midnight show of Thursday night, which is actually opening early morning.
Oh, so you think technically we didn't see it?
I don't know. See, that's what I'm asking. Because we saw Friday night show. Now, it came out Friday morning at 12:01, so I guess it still is
I think so.
opening night then, right? Even though they do all these goofy midnight pre-screening shows.
Well, of all the movies that are coming out this summer, what one do you want to go to the midnight very first show of? Or is that just, it's not worth it to worry about the lines and the crowds and the news crews and all that stuff? But like when we went and saw Harry Potter opening night, midnight-ish show, there were people all dressed up, and people, that brought their 6-year-olds out to see a movie at midnight and stuff. And usually when I'm walking around Walmart and there's like a Mexican family and it's 3:30 in the morning and they've got a 4-year-old, I think you guys suck, that. But when I saw, you bring your kid to a movie in midnight and dress them up and all that, I felt quite the opposite. It's hypocrisy, I think, is what it is. But
well, going to Walmart shouldn't be a special event that warrants a kid to be up all night. The problem with the kids at Walmart is the kid is always crying his eyes out because he's so tired and up late that he wishes that it was in bed. Although kids don't know that. They just cry when they feel bad, and that's what they feel like when they're tired. And so that's the main reason why you say you guys suck. Whereas in the case of the Harry Potter, they're wearing their costume and they're bouncing up and down because they're excited and stuff. So it's a little different. So, yeah, of all the movies that are coming out this summer, what do I want to go see the midnight show of? I would say the one I'm probably most excited about might be Green Lantern, just because...
You have a shirt of it?
Well, I do have a shirt of it, but it's more just because it's a DC character, but it's not Superman and it's not Batman. They just don't make movies of characters other than those two. I'm kind of excited to see that. My brother-in-law is a big DC fan, and he says that Flash is apparently in the works as well. I don't know if that's true.
It's been years that's been in the works.
He was upset.
The only thing being made right now is our Superman and Batman.
Right. He was upset that Ryan Reynolds was cast as Green Lantern instead of Flash, though.
Is it Wally Wood? What's his name? Wally West?
Wally World.
Ah.
But yeah, he was upset that he wasn't going to be Flash because I think he was originally going to be Flash, and he thought he would be really good as Flash because Flash is supposed to be that obnoxious kind of character that's always cracking jokes and saying annoying things and talking all the time. You know, similar how Spider-Man is always talking at his villains all the time, and that's the one thing that they all just want to kill him so they can make him shut up. But yeah, he was upset about that. But, you know, I'm just excited, you know, because I was really excited when Wonder Woman was in the works and Joss Whedon was going to be doing that. And that, you know, went kaput, as it seems all those DC characters movies do. And it's cool that this one made it. So I don't know. I mean, it may well suck. It looks like, I mean, we saw a trailer for it when we went to Thor. And, you know.
Oh, for Green Lantern. I was like, for Avengers? Well,
we saw a trailer for Green Lantern, and it looks like a cartoon. When it comes down to it, there is...
Everybody is CG, including Green Lantern.
There's nothing that's real in that movie, which... that kind of stuff, and you've heard us rant and rail about it on the show 100 times, it's not our thing so much. That kind of bugs me a little bit. But, you know, when it's done well, it's done well. I mean, Thor had a whole lot of CG in it as well. Asgard was not a real place.
Warning, the following episode contains movie spoilers. If you plan to see the movie we are speaking of in today's episode, we recommend you wait until later to listen to it.
They didn't construct a giant city like they did when they filmed Cleopatra. But I'm almost willing to bet that it would be cheaper to do that than it would be to do the CG city. Maybe it's not the case anymore. I don't know. We
have talked about how cheap CG has become.
Yeah, you know what I saw the other day? It was like on PBS channel or something like that. They had a CG cartoon of Muppets.
Oh, jeez. That's lame.
Apparently, it's cheaper to do CG Muppets than to make real Muppets and have people put their hands inside and act them out.
Oh, wow.
They looked exactly like Muppets. You know, they didn't make them style. It wasn't like the Muppet Babies where they made them, you know, run around and do. It was just like Muppets, but it was a CG Muppets show. And I thought, wow, has it got to be so cheap to do CG? I just cannot believe that they can make a CG Muppet show for cheaper than they could make a real Muppet show. Maybe they just have assumed, like Disney and many other folks did, that people just don't want to see anything but CG. I don't know. But that's not our topic for today. Sorry, I'm about to take us off on a really off-topic rant.
You've really depressed me, too.
But yeah, we were talking Thor. Now, you don't know a lot about Thor, do you?
No.
Despite the fact that you live for Marvel Comics, Thor is one of those guys that's on the periphery, even for you who knows lots about Marvel, right?
Yeah, I think when I was about 9 or 10, I had a Thor comic, and it spoke in these and thous, and thou knowest that Asgard's realm is... And that just scared me, and I didn't understand any of it, and that's the only Thor comic I think I've ever read all these years later. All the issues of the Avengers that I've read, Thor was not a member of the team. Yeah, he's not a character that I have much of a connection to. So I think that worked in my favor. I don't hold all of that stuff sacred, which is ironic because, you know, those are gods. I don't hold that stuff sacred, so some of the changes that they made didn't bother me. And I know that there are people that were bothered, but I can't go by what they think and say, well, obviously I must be wrong because I enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed the movie and was able to just assume that that's how it's supposed to be. And some of those faces were new to me, or characters were new to me. And, you know, if later I find out that Loki's father isn't really the king of the frost giants, I'll be like, oh, that's too bad. That's interesting. I thought that really worked well in the movie. Well,
yeah, I thought it worked well, too. I'm pretty sure he's not.
Yeah, see, I was fairly sure Odin was his father and he had a different mother. And I thought that Loki was the older brother and Thor was the younger. And that's one of the reasons that Loki hates Thor so much, is that he's not the favored brother, even though he's the firstborn. But, you know what? I don't know. I don't care.
Right. Yeah. Shoot, I don't know if I've ever read Thor. You know Thor by reputation, at least, though. I mean, he's one of the most powerful Marvel characters that there are, right? I think it was back when they were having that Civil War bit. I think it was at Comic-Con. We went and they had a promo that was running on the TV around the Marvel booth or whatever you want to call it. And they were talking about how, superheroes have to register, and then they showed like Thor come, and, they showed some beautifully, drawn shot of him doing some powerful thing, and you're just, how is anybody going to be able to stand up against Thor?
That's right. We said whatever side Thor is on, that's the side that's
and you said
win.
The only one that could stand up to him would be maybe the Hulk, but the Hulk's not even, he's like on Planet Hulk doing his Planet Hulk thing. So holy crap, and that was really my first, I had no idea about Thor. My introduction to Thor was from freaking Adventures in Babysitting when there was the girl who loved Thor and thought he was cool, and then they find the mechanic that kind of looks like him, and she assumes that he's Thor, which was really interesting because we just saw the movie the other day. Thor was played by Vincent D'Onofrio. Doesn't even look like him, man. Holy cow. Taking a picture of him now, and in that shot, it's so different. The long blonde hair, I think, does kind of change things up an awful lot, though. The only other Thor that I've read was I read the Ultimate Avengers.
Oh, okay.
Where in the Ultimate Avengers, they kind of leave it up to you. They make it a mystery. Thor in Marvel, he is the god of thunder. But in the Ultimate Universe, you don't know.
Could just be some crazy hippie that thinks.
That's what they've got him. He's this guy that he's a environmental activist, and he could just be this crazy hippie. You don't ever really know. It's always like kind of in his head. Is he crazy or is he not crazy? You see him see Loki suddenly appear, or he sees Odin appear and talk to him, but is he hallucinating this crap? I thought that was an interesting thing to try and do. And, I know that you hate Ultimate Universe, but there are,
oh God, I hate the Ultimate Universe,
things here and there that are interesting takes on it. I thought that was an interesting thing where...
Okay, Quicksilver and the Scarlet Witch are brother and sister in regular Marvel continuity. In the Ultimate Universe, they are brother and sister and also lovers.
Oh, nice. Nice.
I think that epitomizes what the Ultimate Universe is.
But yeah, here and there, there's interesting things. But I liked that idea, and I was curious as to, it always seems like with the movies, when they do them, they tend to mix all the different universes together. You don't get just a Amazing Spider-Man or just a Ultimate Spider-Man, or there's all sorts of different continuities, and they throw bits and pieces, it seems, from lots of different ones in together. And so I figured they'd probably do something like that. There wasn't much of the Ultimate. I don't think there was. Maybe the costume looked more Ultimate Universe. I don't know as far as that goes. Loki, I was sad. I wanted his horns to be real horn instead of whatever plexiglass, fiberglass stuff that they used on that. Not that Loki actually has horns, but I wanted them to look like the horns of some beast.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Instead of being a helmet that was all sleek and fancy looking. Because when I think of Asgard and the gods of that realm...
Of Norse mythology or the Marvel?
Well, they're basically one and the same. But I think of them as being kind of old-fashioned types. They are hunters and that kind of thing. So, they have horns on their helmets like Vikings did. They're wearing furs and stuff instead of wearing glistening...
Space-age polymers.
Right. But, it didn't bother me that much. I just thought it would have been neater if he had those cool horns.
Well, who knows? Joss may stick them on him.
Yeah, well, now that he's... I guess I better not spoil anything.
No. We'll put a spoiler warning at the very beginning. We'll even have announcer man mention it.
Oh, he'll make an appearance?
Well, he also says that gets my go. But go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, now that he's on the Earth, maybe he'll have to have real beasts to make his horn up for him instead of... his space-age polymers.
Yeah, I wonder if that's something that they shot afterward, if they shot that long before during the actual shooting of Thor. I wonder if Stellan Skarsgård is going to be in the Avengers.
Stellan Skarsgård.
Interested to know, but at the same time, I sort of want to avoid the spoilers and avoid the thing. I know that people knew months ago what was going to happen after the credits, and if there were any references to other things in this movie. And after a certain point, I think it was once the trailers were starting to hit, I stayed away and didn't want to know anymore. I like being able to say, oh, yeah, and so-and-so's in it, and so-and-so plays so-and-so, but I don't want to know, that they killed so-and-so and that there's a surprise appearance by so-and-so. So when Clint Barton showed up, they at least called him Barton. I thought that was neat, and people probably won't also believe that it's neat until a year from now when they're like, holy cow, he was the same guy, so.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. They do a lot of that stuff for Marvels where they throw crumbs for the geeks that are going to pick those crumbs up, the little things. It's not important who's up in that thing, the sniper or the bow hunter guy, but throw that kind of stuff in. I remember they did that. I got a DVD that had, the Justice League cartoon when they first started that up. And they had commentary on there for one. And so I played the commentary and they talked about they needed some assassin guy to attack somebody. And instead of just making some dude in dark clothes or something like that, they found a particular DC character who I have no effing idea who is. But for the geeks, they were all excited. Oh, look at that dude. Oh, you can't believe they showed up with Dr. Flashbinder or whatever the freak his name was. That's cool when they do that kind of stuff. Throw the little... throw a bone out to the nerds to get excited about. I think that's fun. And they do that a lot with Marvel. Maybe they do that a lot with DC. I don't know. They don't do that many DC movies, so it's hard to say.
Right. It would be more difficult when they only make a movie every 3 years. But I think in Superman Returns they mentioned Gotham City, and I loved that. So to me that's...
Did they mention Central City?
I don't know. Who's Central City?
No, maybe that's Flash. I was thinking that was Green Lantern City.
Oh, okay. See, maybe you'll be the knowledgeable one when we go see that and go, ooh, Count Matui doesn't look like that. I'll be like, oh, okay.
No, definitely won't be that. I've always been a little bit against that whole fact that every single one of those darn characters has to patrol their own special made-up city. Why can't they just patrol a real city? Why does he have to patrol Central City? Why can't he just patrol Detroit or something? Make more sense, but I guess at a certain point it's too late.
You can copyright Gotham City and Metropolis, or trademark, I guess, and you can't Detroit. Maybe that's part of it. I don't know.
True, but what good is copywriting a city?
I don't know. All right, so maybe we should put on the brakes right now and come back next week, and we'll pick up where we left off. What do you think?
Yeah, let's pick up where we left off and veer off on some really strange side road, okay?
Okay, well, like what? What do you suggest?
Maybe we should just talk about Pirates of the Caribbean. I know we're talking about Thor, but Pirates of the Caribbean.
All right, deal. Good night, folks.
See ya.
To be continued.
That Gets My Goat is produced under a Creative Commons 3.0 license. Doesn't have to be, but it is.
Guilty.